Okay, welcome to another episode of A Podcast. Your host, Stephen Maxted. And today we have the lovely Michelle Leclair with Wolseley Kombucha, the one, the only. And thank you for making time to be on the podcast today. Personally, going to make a shout out here. Love your product. Have it weekly, if not close to daily, working with a client of ours that on the marketing side that carries your product. I know I try to have it in my fridge at all times. Do my best. So yeah, big fan of what you do on the personal side of things already, and excited to chat more about what's going on at Wolseley Kombucha. So Michelle, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
So Wolseley Kombucha started about 7 years ago in my home kitchen out of just a general need of healing myself. I was very sick. I was on lots of antibiotics, and I killed off probably the majority of my gut microbiome. But this is going back, probably about 9 years, so 2 years before I started the business. And a lot of people didn't really understand the importance of gut health and how it affects everything from like the gut-mind connection, breaking down food. So 2 years of not knowing what's going on in my body, kombucha brought me back to life in about 30 days. So it started with just a general need of healing myself. And I was posting on Instagram what I was doing and realizing that a lot of people had the same issue as me. So I brewed in my home kitchen for about 2-3 months. It was very short-lived, and we quickly moved into a shared space in the exchange. And we brewed in that space for about 2.5 years until we've been on Wall Street. We've been there now for 5 years. So actually this October will be our 5-year anniversary on Wall Street.
Wow. That is fantastic. And time has obviously, gone by pretty quick here, the way that you're chatting about that. So you were downtown for, I guess, a few years before then moving to Wall Street now, and that's been home
Exactly.
and staple for you for some time now. And do other people share similar stories after trying the product?
We have so many success stories. People with digestive issues, people with migraines, like we have so many people that have said like your product has completely changed my health. So it's those success stories that keep us, inspired and that keep us going. Because like gut health it's the second brain. It's where your enteric nervous system resides, right? It's 80% of your serotonin is produced in your gut. So
Wow.
we like to say happy guts make happy humans. But we have so many success stories.
And I believe this is an expression that you have written on some things. What is the tagline for the company? Or maybe it's a few of them, but there's one that sticks out for me. It's trust your gut, right?
Trust your gut. Like,
Yeah,
when
yeah.
you're nervous and you get butterflies in your gut, like that's your enteric nervous system talking to you. So
Yeah.
the better your gut is able to process food, the better it's going to operate. So yeah, trust your gut and drink Wolseley Kombucha.
Awesome. I don't think it's something you mentioned actually when I stopped by a location recently to pick some product up, but what kind of separates your product from others, or what differentiates between kombuchas to know, like, kind of on that micro level of what's going on behind the scenes when you're brewing your product?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So, I mean, we make kombucha the authentic way. So we're fermenting it for 6 weeks. Some companies ferment maybe like 5 days to maybe 10 days if they're lucky. So we're actually allowing the kombucha to mature. Our product is also, we use all organic tea. We try to use as local products as we can. Not all flavors are local, but we do work closely with a local fruit farmer. And it's also undiluted. So a lot of kombuchas on the market, like the code of ethics says you have to have 10% kombucha in the bottle to call it kombucha. Well, our
Okay.
bottles are 100% kombucha. So that's, I think, the biggest thing is, and that's why I say trust your gut. If you drink the product, it makes you feel good and you feel the benefits, then keep doing it. Otherwise, you just and know your maker, right? Like, know where the product's coming from. Talk to the people and find out, are they making it authentic? Like, we still make it the same batch method that I made it for myself in my home.
That's awesome. Very cool to hear. And yeah, you're right. I mean, it's would be tough for some of those maybe bigger companies to keep that same high level of quality product the whole way, given what their goals are. But yours is coming from a little bit of a different place, and that's neat that you've held that highest standard quality, top of mind when growing the business here. So awesome. Very
Thank
cool.
you. Yeah, I did have one customer that used to pick up kombucha at my house. This is years ago. And she's like, your kombucha still tastes the same from the day that I bought it from your house to today. Like, if anything, it's gotten better. You know, we've fine tuned our brewing skills. We've added so many, we have such a variety of flavors. But yeah, definitely the integrity of the product is one of the most important things for us at Wolseley Kombucha.
Awesome. You know what, you read my mind with starting to talk about different flavors. I know that you had quite the variety there, but without putting you on the press, because I'm sure that there's more than maybe are even like top of mind and you're in it every day. But how many flavors are there? Give us like a feel of the range of flavors that someone could expect.
So there's typically 12 flavors. That seems like a lot, but you know what? They all sell very well. We have a couple seasonals. So strawberry rhubarb, we're about to phase it out because we use local strawberries, local rhubarb. We're at the end of the season for that. And then now we have apple spice. So we have a couple seasonals throughout the year, and then we have like our staples that we keep year round.
Nice. What are the staple flavors that you would have then that would always be kind of in circulation for you guys as well?
So I would say the 6 best sellers are peach oolong, pomegranate limeade, lemon ginger, Saskatoon berry, cherry cola. Is a lot of people are scared to try that flavor, but once they try it, it's a bestseller. And then probably blueberry pie. So those would be our 6 kind of staples.
Nice. Awesome. No, I think, and I recently tried the cherry cola just to add my 2 cents there. I thought it was great.
Yeah, thank
And
you.
that's
It's my favorite flavor. Honestly, it's so good. And it's made with local cherries. And then the cola blend, it's an in-house cola blend. It's all real roots and herbs. So we don't use any artificial flavors. Our
yeah,
root beer is made with real roots and herbs. Yeah, we just showcase like the amazing flavors that you can get using real roots, real herbs. A lot of the flavor comes from the different teas that we use. We use white tea, black tea, oolong, different types of tea.
awesome. How long does it come to make besides the process itself to like make the right concoction of things and spices to make sure you got it right? How long does that process take on the back end?
So it really depends. Like I shouldn't say all of the flavor creation, but most of them are some of my recipes that I've had for years. Definitely, we work with the team, and you know, everyone's sort of like, you know, gives kind of like their take on things. The blueberry pie was actually created. Sarah's grandma makes a blueberry pie that's blueberry, lime, and cardamom. So that was the inspiration for that flavor, which is pretty cool. But the root beer took me probably 2 years to, you know, less of this, more of that, to really kind of hone in, because root beer can be very like medicinal and almost too spicy, or it can be too bland. So that was probably the hardest flavor to pinpoint.
Yeah.
But we're always trying to make things better and trying to improve things. And that's, I think, the most fun about brewing kombucha is the creativity of making different flavors.
What's on the horizon, or are there new flavors coming out this
You know
fall?
what? I wish I could say yes, there are, but summer has been wild. It's been the busiest year for us. And we have our favorites coming for Halloween. So we always do a witch's brew, which is local Concord grapes and activated charcoal. So it's a black kombucha.
Neat.
I don't think we're going to push anything different this year because we're just still catching up from summer. But you know what? Check back in for Christmas. We'll probably have some new flavors on the horizon.
That's awesome. And recently, you and the team have had some exciting news come in. Can you share a little bit more about that with some recent Manitoba awards that I believe you won?
Yeah, so we were up for 2 awards this year with Food and Beverage Manitoba. The first award that we won was for sustainability. We have 24 sustainable refill stations in Manitoba. So in Winnipeg, it's all co-op locations, all Vita Health locations. And then we have fill stations outside of Winnipeg in Dauphin, Winkler, Morden, Brandon, Port Giles Perry, Steinbach, Gimli. So we've had these refill stations for probably about 7 years. Like obviously every year it's growing and we're adding more. But we did the math and we calculated how many 1 liter single-use bottles that we saved from landfills, and it was close to 150,000, which is a lot of bottles. And that's being conservative, like I think it's probably even more. That's just some quick math that we did, that we calculated
Yeah.
over the years. And, you know, we compost everything. All of our single use plastic is all compostable. So everything's made out of corn. So it's not plastic. So yeah, we won the sustainability award, which is amazing. And the second award we won was voted by the people of Manitoba, and it was the Manitoba Made Award.
Very awesome. That is very cool. I really like the sustainability story that you just shared there about how many bottles you've kept out of landfill. I mean, already you're using glass and then a plastic product that I did not know that it was made of corn. That is really neat.
Yeah. Compost in 20 days.
That's so cool. And that is just so fun. That I'm sure you're going to continue to grow, you know, in the future with more locations and then more of that sustainability story. So that is, yeah, kudos to you guys on
Thank
that.
you.
Question, and this, you might have just answered it. I was going to ask, but what's been one of the more exciting times in the business's history? You know, from early on, I'm sure there was different excitements, and now there's more over time. But is there a few points that stick out for you as most exciting times?
I mean, winning 2 awards on one night was amazing. We were definitely on cloud nine. I had to give a speech, and it was great. The last year has been crazy busy. And, you know, we're kind of in the process where we're looking to scale up. So things are changing. Like the way we do things is going to be different. We need to invest in a new packaging line. So that's kind of our next priority. The way we do things just isn't sustainable anymore for us. Like we need to be more efficient. So yeah, I mean, it's exciting, but it's also kind of scary because it's like, you know, the way we've always done things, we just need to kind of pivot and shift just to make things more efficient. So yeah, I don't know. I would just honestly, this last year has been probably the best year. It's been the best year in business, like as far as sales goes. And you know, like I said, winning 2 awards is pretty epic. So
No, that is definitely a highlight for sure. I was thinking it may be that. What would be advice for someone who's just getting started in the food and beverage space from something
if
you?
you're just getting started in the food and beverage space, I would highly recommend becoming a member of Food and Beverage Manitoba. I've been a member from day one. Like I don't even think I had labels for my products yet.
Right.
And they're such a great resource for pretty much anything, like whether it's like figuring out what your booth is going to look like, to any type of like labels or NFTs, or even going to the events and like you know, just being inspired by people who have products and have their products in Safeway and Sobeys and on the shelf. So my first piece of advice would be to join Food and Beverage Manitoba, to surround yourself with people that basically where you want to be.
Great. I really like that advice. And what's been one of the biggest challenges that you've come across on the journey? Obviously, you're coming up to one soon, possibly with your, as you mentioned, as you're growing and figuring things out. But what would be another big challenge point in history for Wolseley Kombucha?
Yeah, I think for me, like I have a daughter, she's 5. Being a mom.
So, Michelle, what would be one of the biggest challenges that you've come across to date in the business?
I think the biggest challenge for me, especially because I'm a mom, I have a daughter, she's 5. Her name's Lucy. I think the hardest thing is like, as a business owner, it doesn't shut off. Like you're always thinking about your business. Like in the evening, you're doing social media or sending out emails. So I think one of the biggest things that I had to learn is boundaries. And it's
Yeah.
it's great to hustle, but you will burn yourself out. So just setting boundaries, and like, you know, if you work 9 to 5, work hard, make sure that you allow yourself some space to rest and to rejuvenate, because, you know, after 5, 6, 7 years in the business, it's going to catch up to you. So
Right.
yeah, I think boundaries would probably be
For
the thing
sure.
that I would recommend.
How did you start setting those?
How do you start setting those? Well, for starters, when I'm home, I put my phone on airplane mode. So
Okay.
if I'm in mummy zone, or like it's me and my daughter, we're out, we're doing things, like it's hard, but you need to just be present. And you know, if you have to put your phone on airplane mode, if that's what it means you have to do, then that's how you start setting those boundaries.
I think that's great advice. I love actually nothing more than turning off notifications. Sometimes it's not good because then someone's tried to call me a few times and it's like, hey, I called you 5 times. I went to voicemail and it's like, sorry. Like, yeah, I did that. So number one, I wasn't distracted on whatever I was doing. But
Yeah. Like
yeah,
we're actually thinking about getting a landline at home because it is true. Yeah. Like what if there is an emergency? But um so we're actually, it's kind of, I feel like we're going backwards, but I think we're going to get a landline just so when we get home, we can shut our phones off. If
right.
anyone needs to call us, they can call the landline.
No, absolutely. And I think it's it can be very, like you mentioned, like the downtime, even like relaxing at the lake and stuff. It's great to have the phone down where you're not worried about stuff. It's almost nice being in non-service areas. Once in a
Yes.
while, I know I use biking for that excuse. Once in a while, when you're out in the middle of nowhere, you're like, sorry, can't answer that right now. So I think
We,
that's
we go
yeah,
camping in the summer. We go to Big White Shell and there's no cell service there. And it's like, as soon as we get there, we turn our phones off and it's like, we're free. Yeah. It's
yeah.
nice.
No,
Relaxing.
that's good. Have you ever thought about getting into other products within your space, or is it always just? And I mean, as your storyline goes, obviously, kombucha has been the focus. But have you ever experimented with doing other products um, in the company?
Yeah, so that's a great question. We do have a possible sister brand that's we're hoping it launches in 2025. Um, and it is a non-kombucha product, so it's still a health beverage. But there are a lot of recipes. Like I make a lot. Like my dream is to be a herbalist. I don't know if you know that, but I make tons of like herbal delicious beverages at home. So I make a delicious electrolyte drink. We make natural energy drinks at home. So there's some possibility that there could be another brand on the horizon.
Cool, fun. I'm glad I asked that too,
Yeah.
to find out, yeah, the inside tracker. It just always seems like if once you're in business and it seemed like, you've done it for a number of years where, maybe it's something that's already been tried out and maybe didn't work out, or, um, there is something else that you want to, now that you've kind of figured out certain things within, that industry
Yeah.
and stuff, would make it much easier to start,
I think
you
too,
know
like once you sort of like establish like your distribution networks and like all of your packaging, it is very simple to sort of add on. And kombucha, I mean, I love kombucha, but not everybody does. So it'd be nice to sort of have some other products so we can just tap into, a bigger piece of that, the beverage space.
Yeah, absolutely. And where I know you listed off some of the stores where you have refillables, but your, I guess, are they 1 liters? I think you mentioned. I didn't realize that they
Um,
were that I've
we
been
have
drinking.
our grab and go bottles. So
Yeah.
355 mLs. You can find them at Safeway, Sobeys, Red River Co-op, Vita Health. We're the non-alcoholic option. Like in the summer, a lot of the breweries have us on tap. Kilter, we make a special blend. It's called Bucci. So it's a spin off their juicy beer. So you can find us at Kilter on tap all the time. Um, and you can find our products at like the mom and pop shops, health food stores,
Basically
yeah,
everywhere.
basically everywhere. We have 130 Manitoba retail partners. I mean, that number's growing every month. It seems like we're getting new accounts. And we are actually, thinking about maybe we need to, get a distributor because it's, getting right now we're self-distributed and it would be nice to possibly get a distributor. So yeah, there's going to be some changes around Wolseley Kombucha in the next year or so.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Fantastic. Yeah, and do you find that as an overall like trend? I know that sometimes I don't always want to have the beverage with the group or whatever is going on there. And do you see that part of the business growing, being at breweries and stuff, where folks are choosing the non-alcoholic option? Um,
So yeah, like the sober market is growing like crazy. Like even, sober October is a thing. Actually, my husband and
yes.
I are both doing it.
Yeah, ditto.
Um, like it's still nice to have a social drink. Like we actually recently did the bikers, the social motocross biker event, but a lot of them are older and they don't drink anymore. So we stayed open. It was on Wall Street. There was like hundreds and hundreds. I don't know. There was probably close to 1,000 bikers on Wall Street. It was wild. And we were crazy busy, but a lot of them don't drink alcohol anymore, so they were
Yeah.
so excited to have something that kind of feels like a beer but it's not, and it's good for you and it's good for your gut. So yeah, the sober market it's growing. It's crazy.
Yeah, it definitely seems, and I remember seeing clips of that. I didn't look into details, but I believe I liked the post from that day that you guys had the bikers in front. That looked really great.
Yeah, it
What
was
were they
really good.
doing? Was it a fundraiser or something for
So
them?
it's called like the Moto Social. The owner of Wall Street Slice, he's part of that group.
Hmm.
And once a month they go to, typically it's a local company. They'll go and they just show up and they hopefully like they support the businesses on the street,
Yeah.
and they just, I guess they just talk about bikes and show off their bikes. But yeah,
Okay.
I've never seen that many people on Wall Street, never mind that many bikes.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool.
Oh, that's very awesome, and definitely a fun boost for business, especially if they were looking for a product just like that. There,
Yeah.
that's very cool for them to have shared that experience. Now, and outside of the stores and stuff, are you still participating as a company in lots of weekend events and stuff like that? And is there anything coming up for fall or winter that you'll be at that people will be able to find you at?
So we'll be at Scattered Seeds weekend one, which I believe is 18th, 19th, 20th.
Okay.
So that's at the Red River X Grounds. And then we'll be at Apple and Pine in Brandon. And that is the Remembrance Day weekend. So I can't remember the exact dates, like the 8th, 9th, 10th, I believe, that
Weekend.
weekend. So we're just participating in those two markets. We have scaled back the amount of markets that we've done. Markets are, I love doing markets. I love connecting with people, but we have such a small team, and our
Yeah.
wholesale side has just been going crazy. So hopefully in the new year, that means that we'll be able to hire another person. And, just as the business grows and as demand grows, we'll be looking for another team member to join us.
Oh, that's awesome. That sounds like it's a good problem to have. What is one of your favorite local foods to pair with kombucha?
Favorite local food? Well, Wall Street Slice right next door is pretty amazing.
Kombucha? Yeah.
Like for lunch today, I had some Sleepy Owl sourdough bread.
Oh,
Um, we have the bakery next door, so probably something on the block. Like you can either find me at 7 getting a coffee. Yes, I still drink coffee. um, but probably the best, I would probably get a slice of pizza from Wall Street, and I would pair that with a cherry cola. That would be my lunch.
awesome.
Yeah.
And would that be, I know you mentioned maybe kind of lightly alluding to this, is that your favorite kombucha that you've ever made?
The cherry cola is definitely high up there. The peach oolong is probably my all-time favorite, but the lemon ginger, I mean, I love ginger. So,
Okay, so we got a top three. I don't want to
yeah.
force you into here of choosing one.
Depends
Uh,
on the day,
yeah,
but
absolutely.
we do have lemon ginger on tap at home. So, because that's like just the general favorite of everybody's in the family.
Okay, that is so cool. Can you tell us more about how you have kombucha on tap at home?
We do have some customers that have taps at home, and we sell them kegs. So we do sell it by the keg.
Really?
Yeah. So we have a couple businesses that have it for their office. So there's a
Yeah.
tech company down Wall Street that has a 2-tap. So we sell them 2 flavors of kombucha. They pick up probably once or twice a month. And then we have a few people that have them in their house and they just buy it by the keg. So they get a better kind of wholesale price.
Yeah. And
So
how many would be in that keg? Like these are obviously very avid kombucha
yeah,
drinkers, to say the least.
I mean, it lasts for 8 months. Kombucha has a long shelf life.
Yeah.
But there's 53 servings in a keg. So if you're drinking like a 12-ounce cup, you'll
Okay.
get 53, which can last a long time. But if you have friends over often, 5-6
Yeah.
cups, it goes fast.
Oh, that is so cool. And where does your tap exist in your house? Is it in your kitchen or in
We
like
have
a
it kind of like it's kind of like a mud room, sort of multi-purpose room on the side of the house.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And you're just like, hey, we got kombucha as you should. Owning that kind of
Otherwise, like my daughter drinks so much kombucha that like I'll bring a 2-liter home and it's gone in a day. So and my parents, my family comes over, friends. It's the only way to have it in our house.
that is so cool. I didn't know that was a thing, and it's really cool that businesses do that as well. And then, I mean, as you mentioned, some you're on tap at some breweries locally here already. Is there much? I guess yeah, I guess they would have like a fridge that has all the setups for this kind of stuff. I've seen, I'm not totally unfamiliar with what a keg setup would look like, but I'm just thinking of like a beer keg, and in the
Yeah,
fridge, I've seen those ones before, and then they have a tap on top, and then that's kind of the deal. Is that similar to what other people would have set up for
I
their
think so. Yeah, it depends on the place. Like some places might have like it just like a regular beer tap, have it connected that way. Like at the Commons, we're actually on tap for October at the Forks at the Commons, and they you just change the fitting so it fits our kegs like underneath, but it can look like anything.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, that is so neat.
So
And I guess just walking this through too, so you have like the individual grab and go, you have the refills, and how big are those? Those are like big
they're
jugs. I don't even know how to describe them.
it's either like a howler or a growler. Those are like the
Yes.
technical terms. It's 946 mLs, which is almost a liter, and
Okay.
1.89, almost 2 liters.
Wow.
So
And
mhm.
I think you mentioned a number that you had thought that you had saved on the recycling side, but how many liters of kombucha collectively do you know this number, or like have you sold to date, or how big would that guesstimate be maybe?
Oh gosh, I mean, like if I calculated all of like the revenue over the years, I could probably figure it out, but
Yeah.
it's a lot. We've
It's
brewed a
real.
lot of kombucha, so
Yeah.
I mean, I think Winnipeg's pretty lucky because, like, yeah, I mean, we have a storefront for customers, we have refill stations all over the city, and I think kombucha is like, I think one of the best ways because kombuchas, they do call it the elixir of life or the superfood of beverages. Like, not only is it good to help replenish your gut with good bacteria, but it has lots of B vitamins. So it can give you like that energy boost throughout the
Yeah.
day instead of having that second coffee or second cup of like green tea. It balances the pH in your body. So it makes you more alkaline. Um, those like people say that disease only proliferates in an acidic environment, so it helps your body be more alkaline. So then the disease and different things, inflammation can't I guess proliferate in your body. um, it helps with brain fog, with the gut mind connection. So there's lots of benefits to drinking kombucha. So I think yeah, people just incorporating it in even just like a small cup every day into their daily routines is a good thing.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Well, I'm kind of already sold on it myself. This is fantastic. That I'm so like surprised in a great way that people would have that on tap at their house though. That's just like now my mind's like spinning into, how could that be a thing? Because that's
Yeah,
super cool in my opinion. That's an awesome thing to incorporate into yeah, the everyday activity. And especially for businesses, if they're interested, they should be reaching out to you to do that.
absolutely.
Coffee machine is one thing, but a kombucha on tap would be very cool. I think it definitely, a job enhancer if it's at your office. I would definitely see that as an upside. So that is very cool. And outside of Manitoba, are you able to send product outside at this point, or what does that look like for reaching outside of the borders of Manitoba at this point in the
So
business?
yeah, good question. Right now we are working with a distributor that's going to help get our product into Saskatoon and Regina. So that's kind of in the works right now. But I think there's a few things that are going to change. I can't say too much because I don't know. Nothing's been set in stone, but yeah, we're looking to kind of, possibly change the way we do things just so we can distribute outside of Manitoba.
Okay,
Yeah, basically, but it's coming. So stay tuned.
awesome. No, no, definitely a good plug for that. And outside of finding, I guess, you guys on at locations, you did a great job of kind of capturing there, and I'm sure most that's on your website. You're on most social media platforms, or is there one that you primarily post on if folks are looking to follow you and to engage and see follow the story that way?
So we're mostly just on Instagram. We do post to Facebook. I haven't got into TikTok. I'm so sorry. um, but yeah, if folks want to connect with us, the best way, honestly, if you're in Winnipeg, come down to the tap room. Like we're open
Yeah.
Tuesday to Saturday, 10 to 4. Um, Today actually was super busy. I was surprised because it was like when it's raining, you just never know if people are going to come in, but it was wild busy this morning. We've actually been selling a lot of starter kits out of our tap room. So if anyone's interested in brewing kombucha, I'm going to have a bunch of dates. They're releasing on Friday.
Okay,
So
cool.
if folks are interested, if you live in Winnipeg and you want to come and learn how to brew kombucha, it comes with a starter kit, everything you need to get started. The dates will be released on Friday. We have quite a long wait list. We only do workshops in like October, November, and then like January, February.
Nice.
But yeah, if people want to connect with us, Instagram, come to the tap room. You can call our tap room. We have a phone.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Okay, wait. Outside of these starter, what's included in the starter kit for folks that you guys are
So it
helping
includes
get started?
everything you need to get started. You just have to add water. So it has the sugar, the tea, the jar, the temperature gauge to keep track of it. Comes with a workbook. And then, of course, the SCOBY and the starter tea. So everything you need to get started to make a full gallon batch of kombucha.
Okay, very cool. And this is only like a fall thing. Once they do that first batch, does it live on? Like, can they make other
The
batches?
SCOBY is, I would say, probably one of the most resilient cultures. It's very hard to kill a culture. And yeah, once you make a batch, you can
Yeah.
use that SCOBY to then jumpstart the next fermentation. So the next batch and then the next. So once you have one, you just need fresh tea and fresh sugar to make the next batch. And essentially what happens when you make a batch of kombucha, so it seems like you add a lot of sugar, and people I think, oh my gosh, kombucha has lots of sugar, but
Yeah.
you're actually fermenting for 4 to 6 weeks. So all of the sugar is being broken down and transformed into organic acids. So it goes from sugar to alcohol to organic acids. So it's a 2-step fermentation process. And the SCOBY is actually an acronym for a symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast. So because it has the yeast and the bacteria, it has the 2 steps where the yeast eat the sugar, create alcohol, then the bacteria eat the alcohol and create organic acids. So the end
Wow.
result is low sugar, low alcohol, fizzy, probiotic, delicious beverage.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating. It's a bit of science and a bit of art.
Yeah, no kidding. And I guess like on the temperature side, you mentioned that that's kind of like a measuring task for the home starter kits. What are they looking for there when they do get them and get going on those? What's the secret that, or like how do they
So
follow?
yeah, like the temperature it's I would say one of the most important parts about fermenting, because if it's too cold, nothing's going to happen. If it's too hot, it's going to ferment too fast. So you want it to be around 22 to 24 degrees. So that's why we always have a temperature like band on the jars, because the first question I ask a student is, what's the temperature? And if it's like, oh, it's 16, it's like, well, that's the problem.
Okay. And does that become like, or like when you're just doing that on your own, then is it producing heat from the inside?
It's not, no. So the
No.
temperature, you just want to keep it in a warm, dark place that
Yeah.
has like a warm, dark place, and you want to make sure that you let it breathe.
Interesting. And
Like,
what's the frequency of the breathing process there? Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
what's that?
Testing 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me now?
We're paused right now. I had to turn.
Now, Michelle, you mentioned some things about expansion and different growth moments of you in the past, and maybe some new things coming in to fall here. If I may pry or poke in this direction here, what does that look like for you, and what kind of changes or evolution are you kind of looking down in the tunnel of the business world? What does that look like for you in the business?
Yeah. So, well, right now we are looking for investors. So if there are any investors listening or anyone that's interested in possibly investing in the business, definitely reach out to me. But yeah, just like the future, we want to make our packaging more efficient. We want to expand our distribution network, and, we want to grow that new sister brand. So there's definitely lots of growth happening for Wolseley Kombucha. And if anyone is interested in joining us, get a hold of me, reach out.
Okay, awesome. And best way to do that might be through the website for yourself. If someone's hearing this right now and they want to connect, is there an easy way to connect with yourself and the team
Yeah,
via the website?
you can definitely reach out through the website, so that, or you can go to hello@wolseleykombucha.com would probably be the best.
Okay, for email.
Yeah.
Okay,
Perfect.
awesome. Well, Michelle, this has been a blast. Is there anything else that you want to drop in here for us today, or you're good on your end?
Honestly, this was great. I appreciate the opportunity, and just remember, trust your gut.
No, absolutely. I love that. So I'm all with you here. That is a perfect way to end it. So thanks so much for making time to be on with us today, and we'll just play some tunes as we exit here. So awesome.